clutch.
Bring it on.
One last spot in the second round. DJ Shine says, get off me. Sophomore out of Augusta. Still got the rock. Gives it up. Here's Braylon Roman, sophomore out of Bloomington, Illinois. Second leading scorer, 12.5 a game. Gets it back for Shine. Roman on the drive. Gets to the 10, can't score, tapped out and secured by Tashim Gary of Bishop State. As you look at their starters for the 17 and 15 Wildcats out of Mobile, Alabama.
I think it's critically important
Deep
for Bishop
three.
State.
Oh, trying to get it started in a hurry. Long rebound pulled in by Burns as Carter couldn't hit the tray.
I think it's really critical for Bishop State to get off to the quick start, being the new kid here against the veteran.
Shine gets a screen, can't hit the three. Offensive rebound over the rim and in for Johnny Pierce, a sophomore from Connecticut, with his first bucket.
And this is a good rebounding team, plus about 3 per game for the Raiders, and that's a good start for Northwest Florida.
Pull up, Gary drops it in, gets the friendly roll. Both teams open their scoring with a deuce.
Tashim Gary, he is one of 6 players that average in double figures for this Wildcat team. Very well balanced. They got to stay that way tonight.
Way too strong. Bopsy Prophet grabs the rebound out of Orlando, Florida. Jeremiah Sem, big tall freshman. Now they're going to hold it with Gary at midcourt out of Dallas. Just a couple of sophomores on the roster, mostly freshmen that you'll see here this evening. Sem on the drive, rejected. No chance against Johnny Pierce, who flies high for the block.
Great help defense across the paint by Pierce.
Roman, he's blocked in his own right. It's Milan Marte makes the block, and now a foul on the other end. Will get Prophet to the stripe.
I like Bishop State taking that opportunity. They had a one-on-one matchup to run the floor. They'll end up with Prophet getting the first free throws of the game for Bishop State.
80% foul shooter for a team that does shoot it very well at the line, 74%.
You got your first substitution as well. You got Demarion Van Kelly in for Northwest Florida. They're very balanced as well. They have got 5 players that average in double figures.
Prophet back heel, nope. Yeah, Van Kelly, a transfer from Northeast Oklahoma College. Not the Oklahoma College we just saw in overtime. That's a North Oklahoma Enid. Those are 2 different things, and that rims out. Double miss.
Yeah, you do have a Northern Oklahoma. Yeah, it gets a little confusing sometimes.
A lot of directions, like we said in that conference. Burns, tough handoff. He gets toppled. Somehow gets it away to Van Kelly. Now Roman penetrates. Ball goes flying into the undercarriage. It'll stay with the Raiders.
Yeah, Jeremiah Sim was trying to say, I didn't touch it. He may have just been trying to snag the possession there.
Inbound right to a 3. Down it goes for Jonas Nichols, a redshirt freshman from Akron.
He was on the first team all NJCAA conference. Averages 11.5 a game. Pretty little 3 on the baseline.
NCAA experience for him with Kent State up in his native Ohio. Down here with the Raiders. Roman slows things down.
Well, Kent State had one of those magical Cinderella runs as a mid-major.
Pierce off glass, way too strong. Rebound controlled momentarily by Burns, and a jump ball that favors Bishop State. And Steve DeMeo, the head coach over there for Northwest Florida, voicing his opinion about it. A New Yorker by trade.
Yeah, this is actually his second go-around at Northwest Florida. He was the coach for the 15 championship team.
Take a look at the keys for the Cats.
Well, they got team defense, and when they have the opportunity to run the floor, they need to convert points in transition.
How about the catch there from Carter? Now drives, can't finish. He's got to get up off the deck. In transition, Northwest Florida pull up three, Van Kelly. No chance, but it's out of bounds off the hands of the Wildcats.
And then for the Raiders, got to execute offensively very well in the half court and then control the paint. You're going to have at times the size advantage out there. You need to make that a big plus in this one.
Got a 5-2 lead early on. Make it 7-2.
Boy,
Van Kelly.
That was pure from Van Kelly on the baseline. Averages about 11.5 a game. And you just never know. Both of these teams so well balanced. Who's going to have the hot hand?
1-4 start for Bishop State. Olajuwon. Patrick Olajuwon out of Nigeria. Pull up three, Carter. No. Or excuse me, that was Milan with Marte with the three that missed. Nichols pestered.
Yeah, nice patient possession here by the Raiders.
Burns. Nichols inside the arc, back to Burns, turns around, leaves it short. Nice rebound, tough for Olajuwon.
Yeah, that was great team defense.
Sam gets to the cup, whacked away by Burns, but they're going to call goaltending. And that will be a bucket for Jeremiah Sem. Gets Bishop State back within a tray, 15-11.
That region for Bishop State is region 22. They come in with a 17-15 record as the 22 seed. Maybe much like Trinidad State, they would have started that tournament with a sub-500 record and win every game.
End up 9-5 in conference, but find their way to Hutchinson and within 3 points of Northwest Florida. Very early here. Nichols working into the paint, finds the glass and the foul. 3-point play chance here for the Raiders.
Boy, Jonas Nichols, that was an extremely patient move into the paint. A couple of pump fakes, and the last one garners him the and one opportunity. There you see Nichols again averaging 11.5. It was DJ Shine that leads the way for this Raider team, 17.5 points, and he shoots the three at almost 48%.
I wonder for Nichols, Akron was just in the big dance. I wonder if he was cheering for, if he's an Akron fan or not, because he's from Akron, but he went to Kent State, and they hate each other. So I don't know. But either way, he's found his way to this dance with Northwest Florida. And he cannot complete the three-point play. Rebound for Marte.
And the Raiders 64% as a team at the free throw line, and now we have a
foul against Northwest Florida. Who are they going to get with this?
Looks like they're going to get, is that De'Eric Barber? It is. It's almost that space violation. Is that what they call that? Almost a flopping away.
Profit gets it in after the foul. Second team foul on Northwest Florida. Carmelo Carter calling out a play. Freshman from Panama City, Florida. Familiar with the parts that Northwest Florida hails from. At least thereabouts. This is taken away. Van Kelly, the steal, takes it all the way to the hoop and scores.
That was fantastic defense. Got Bishop way down in the shot clock. You get the steal and the easy run out.
Post up for Olajuwon. Bullies his way in, blocked by the rim, gets it back. Momentarily, gets it back again. To the cutting lane, and Carter with the finish.
What great hustle to stay with it. Olajuwon banged around on the baseline, able to wrestle it away. And then a great cut to the basket and finish for Carter.
A top for Reed. GJ Shine lowers his shoulder and draws the foul.
It's like Milan Marte going to get whistled for his first, and for Bishop State, I believe just their second. Unless that had updated maybe just the first team foul.
That'll be the second. It was one earlier.
I think maybe they gave it, when I looked up first, it was 2-1 and now a 3-1, but they gave one to Northwest Florida. I think that needs to get corrected. I think they gave it to the wrong team on the board. Let's look in the live stats here. Yeah. Mine are a little slow.
Well, we'll get it all sorted out for you. It is 2-2. It's just wrong on the scoreboard. They've been perfect all tournament long, so we can't fault them, but they'll fix it. And here's the drive for Sam. Oh, he can't finish at the rack. Couple missed opportunities right at the iron. And Bishop State in a tie-up. Jump ball favors Northwest Florida.
Yeah, that's one if you're Bishop State, you got to convert. You had a made basket and a run out and just couldn't convert. Elijah had a nice offensive rebound, but then got swallowed up in the double team and tied up. And they do have it corrected on the live stats at 2 fouls
right
apiece.
There. They got to fix it on the scoreboard still. They will. It's 2 fouls to 2. Our score bug will have that right once they get it right up on the Jumbotron. Van Kelly zips it down low. The flip. Oh, nearly a nice finish for Pierce, but he couldn't put it in.
Well, it was a nice interior passing, everything right except.
The 3 on the other end rolls off. Offensive rebound and a foul. Yeah, that looked funky, and Reed got a piece of Marte.
And Bishop State hanging tough on the offensive glass. Will earn their way here to the free throw line.
All right, those fouls you see now are correct. 3 for Northwest Florida, 2 for Bishop State.
And ends up with Mylon Marte. Going to get a couple of free throws here.
Marte, a 78% foul shooter, freshman out of Santo Domingo down in the Dominican Republic.
Well, got the vacation down there this winter. I tell you what a beautiful island country is the Dominican Republic. You ever get a chance to go down there, I highly recommend it. Fantastic country.
First is good for the Dominican.
Going to bring Braylon Roman back into the Raider lineup. Roman a 12.5-point average per game for a Northwest Florida team that's 5th in the country in field goal percentage, 50.5%, and they're 7th shooting the 3 ball at 39%.
Both go down for Marte. 4-point ball game, 12:50 to play.
You never know how big underdogs, especially in their first tournament appearance, are going to respond once the game gets going against an accomplished opponent like this, but so far so good for the Wildcats.
Eric Barber gives it up to Christian Reed, the Miamian. Can't put it in. Oh, but the flush for Pierce as he flies in to jam it home.
Holy cow, what a finish. Pierce came out of nowhere. Here's a step back.
Oh, Carter. That is pure.
What an answer by Tremello Carter after that throwdown from Pierce.
Barber, freshman from Cleveland. Roman gets some space, leans back, can't put it in. Bodies hit the deck, no call.
Well,
Bishop State comes out of the scrum.
Thought you might have a little takedown there in the paint, but no whistle.
Carter trying to get it underneath. Well, there are 4 teams from that conference here at Hutch. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, this is the 4th consecutive 20-plus win season as well for the Raiders.
Corner Nichols kicks it out. Drive for Shine underneath the rim, no chance. The rebound pulled in by Zion Mitchell. Leaning back off the glass, Marte with the touch.
Oh, what a finish by Marte. I thought I was just getting ready to say how great a defense that was, and it was by the Raiders, but an even better shot off the dribble for Marte.
1-point ball game. Shine, the three. Spit back out. Pierce, offensive rebound. Another try at it. And Justin Burns with the deuce.
We talked about the Raiders controlling the paint. Doing a good job there on the putback. And that second chance point. Get a little more space. A 3-point lead for the Raiders.
Marte, dribble drive, spins into the lane. No call. He eats wood. And here comes Burns in a hurry. No look pass. Doesn't go his way. Gary was not fooled. Baseball pass to Marte. Off window. Nope. Away they come. Nichols the board.
I've seen tennis matches that move a little bit slower than the last couple of possessions here. Eh? I've gotten up and down the floor.
Nichols trying to use the window. They've gotten up and down the floor. They haven't done much scoring in the last few minutes.
Yeah, it's been finishing, and now Bishop State, I think a good move. Let's get into the half-court offense a little bit, slow things down, see if we can get a little bit better look.
Gary takes the three. Round and out off the left iron.
That wasn't a bad look off the high screen, maybe just a little rushed by Gary that time.
Shine going to the cup. He is swallowed up. A big paw from
Fegan,
yeah,
excuse
Fegan.
me. That was an amazing tie-up. To come away with that basketball, tremendous defense there by Jacob Fegan.
Carter pulls up. That's a long two. Down smooth, though.
Well, Bishop State chose to go a little shot clock possession there. Worked it at well under 10. And a beautiful little pull-up. Get back within one once again.
Another three. Way too strong. Shine has struggled from beyond the arc. Out of bounds. Well, Bishop State will take over.
Both teams going to bring in a couple of substitutions. Jeremiah Sim, Patrick Olajuwon back on the floor for Bishop State. Gotta get my Raiders here. I think one of them was Braylon Roman back on the floor, and also I think it was either Christian Reed or Van Kelly.
Yeah, Van Kelly checking back in. Mitchell running the point, sophomore out of Orlando. Profit dumps it. Olajuwon going to work.
Oh,
slips
nice
under.
drop step.
The fancy footwork from the Nigerian.
That was a brutally tough drop step to defend by Olajuwon. That is a pretty post move, and Bishop State with their first lead.
Penetration in the kick. Roman cans it.
Great answer. Go back to Braylon Roman. And that puts Northwest Florida another 2-point advantage. Back and forth we go. About 12 minutes in.
Off to a good start. Gary. For Vopsy Profit. Ooh. He had half a mind to step back and throw that thing up. Instead, his pocket is picked. Braylon Roman. Oxygen. Oh!
Oh, goodness. What a throwdown off the defense by Braylon Roman.
Get up.
As Bishop was wanting to do another one of those short shot clock possessions, but Roman had other ideas.
Gary pulls up. That is a tough look. Didn't have much of a chance. Burns in a hurry. Leaves it underneath. Roman was more open, I think, than he thought.
And looks like they're going to get Bishop a foul on the rebound. It'll be curious. Out of the timeout, we'll see if they're going to call that a shooting foul or a foul on the floor. We will find out, but let's look at this throwdown one more time as we go to break. Doing a great job getting this program to this level to make their first ever appearance and his first as a coach. You do it that well at different levels, and you love to get his reward. And he doesn't want to just be here. He wants to make a statement while they are here.
He'd like to stay through tomorrow, at least. Burns, good there. 6-point game. Bishop State, well, both teams have struggled mightily from beyond the arc. Bishop State's starting to turn it over quite a bit. And they turned it into points for Northwest Florida. Roman, the recipient that time.
Yeah, here's the transition points that we talked about Northwest Florida.
TOs have climbed to 6 for the Cats.
And the lead has ballooned to 8 after Bishop State briefly took a 1-point advantage.
Got to get back into it somehow. Olajuwon going to try and do it down low. He does. Man, I love his footwork down low, Scott.
Yeah.
Really doing the job.
He is talented at 6'7". He's probably faces most of his defenders are going to have an inch or two, maybe 3 on him, but that does not affect him. Nice, solid-looking young man.
Nichols, 15-footer, glances off, but Burns has the board. Dorman drives, up and under, no. And the tap in from Burns. And a timeout taken by the aforementioned Tret Eager. He wants to talk about it. 27-19 the lead for Northwest Florida, and it's starting to balloon a little bit on the Wildcats.
I'll tell you, they're getting offensive rebounds, and they're moving the ball so quickly. You can just see that Bishop State, some of the early shooting marks, again, these are just a little behind. Both teams right around that 39% mark with some of these breakaways now just under 41 now for Northwest Florida. Again, their defensive pressure is giving the Wildcats some fits. And trying to get to Olajuwon, that's going to be another turnover.
And they're just killing him right now. Oh, what a move from Van Kelly. Nearly another offensive rebound. Sem getting down low, trying to finish. He does! Bump and the bucket for Jeremiah Sem, and that'll help. If you can't make a 3 from beyond the arc, do it the old-fashioned way.
Get to the rim when you're struggling to shoot the ball, and Sem averages over 16.5. He shoots it at 47%. Let's watch the finish. Great crossover. And just the pump fake, yeah, right down on the arm, and the strong finish for Jeremiah Sem. Can he convert? He will. That's a big three-point play to get back within 5. You kind of felt like the Raiders were prime to push this lead into double figures a few moments ago, and that's a good answer by Bishop State.
Van Kelly. Dorman trying to get inside. Good defense here from the Cats. Oh, dangerous pass and just touched by Marte on its way out. But there'll be just 4 on the timer for Northwest Florida.
Well, if Marte could have took a quick glance, there was nobody there for the Raiders. He could have just let that go out of bounds, but you don't know that if you can't take the quick look. So now can you defend for 4 more seconds and get a big stop?
Dorman will manage the inbound. Nichols got to get something off here with 2. With 1, he did not get that off.
They're letting play go like
Wow.
that might have counted.
I don't think it would have. It doesn't matter. And a foul against Gary.
I like the aggressiveness that Bishop State played that last defensive segment with. They end up getting the stop and get back to the foul line with Tashim Gary. Again, pressing the issue and drawing another foul, which is the 5th on the Raiders. And Bishop State themselves only been called for 3.
Gary's first trip tonight, outstanding free throw shooter. 88% or 86%. It's going down a little after that miss.
Is that what you call the announcer jinx there? Is we were just going to compliment all the great free throw shooting there. And, of course, one has to be off the mark on the first one.
It's also worth mentioning, we talked about it a lot on day 1, but this is Bishop State's first time playing here, so the sight lines are a little weird compared to the usual JUCO gym, so that can usually throw off a guy's first free throw, even with the shoot-around that they participated in this morning.
Yeah, I certainly love that addition, getting teams time on the floor before their first game.
Both of these teams are here bright and early this morning before the first game, getting it in. Dorman kisses it off the glass. Won't go down for him, though. And Olajuwon, the one-arm rebound. Gary penetrates, hangs. No. Nice board from Nichols.
Olajuwon out of hand on that, just couldn't quite corral the rebound.
Pump. Gary sticking to his man. Open three, Dorman can't bust it through. Carter vacuums it up.
And the guard down there at 5'11", getting a nice strong rebound.
Trying a three, off target. The threes will not fall for either side. Out of bounds, it'll go to Northwest Florida, bounced off the outstretched arms of Marte.
Oh, Hassan Dorman keeping that alive and falling out of bounds, was able to find a faux leg to throw that off and get the possession back for the Raiders, who are leading just by 4. Bishop State's battled back within a couple of possessions. And they're also going to bring back in Jacob Fagan. Olajuwon a break. And this may be a break around that last media timeout for Olajuwon. And be able to bring him back in.
Shine gets it away, nearly had it deflected. Roman penetrates, extra step, puts it in.
It's kind of that Euro type step that we see a lot in today's game. And well done for the deuce.
Sam trying to reverse it. Out of bounds, off of him. So Northwest Florida will get it back when we. Kinds of upsets. Kansas goes down. Florida, topical. Northwest Florida in town here. Also went down to Iowa. 1 seed. See you later.
Is that why they call it March Madness?
Yeah, we'll see our 1 seed tomorrow as Howard gets their tournament started on a Monday.
Looking forward to seeing all the rest of the teams. We're seeing teams.
Oh, what a dish. Here's a three. Roman, too short. Roman and Shine have been a little inefficient, but especially DJ Shine. They've been almost without him on the offensive end. And yet, the lead is 6. Make
it 4.
Make it 4. What a turnaround, Jay from Carter.
Yeah, we mentioned Shine shoots it. The 3 ball, almost 48%, 17.5 points, but he has been quiet in this one.
Yeah, 0 for 4 from range.
Boy, nice little hedge on the double team, forcing the kick up by Northwest to reset.
Pierce hands it off to Dorman. 8 seconds on the timer for him. Goes to the 10, can't finish. Ping pongs around. Burns had it for about half a second, but Carter ultimately takes it.
Well, it was a close-in look for the Raiders, just couldn't finish. Bishop State able to battle for that rebound. Seemed like every rebound there is a big battle.
Marte, the shoulder, no dice, but the cleanup right there for it is Fagan.
Nice job on the offensive glass there by Fagan as the Raiders lost track of him. And again, a 2-point game as we approach 2-minute mark. Bishop State hanging really tough, looking good in their first ever appearance here.
And Shine way off with that open shot, and he just has not looked comfortable shooting the rock tonight. And a foul, or at least out of bounds, just out of bounds. There's bodies all over the floor, but it will be Bishop State ball. And
got a couple of subs.
Yeah, late decision. Steve DeMeo says get in there to De'Eric Barber.
Boy, really crucial minute 55 for Bishop State. You got a possession to maybe tie or take the lead, and a foul on the inbound is number 6 on the Raiders. They did have one to give.
Well, that could be important. We'll see if the bonus comes into play in these final, 114 seconds?
Tasheen Gary back in for Bishop State. Again, if you can get to the locker room, if you're Bishop State, maybe tied or maybe sneak the lead out. Just don't want to allow any kind of a run here by Northwest Florida as you nearly turned it over there.
Sem spinning off a defender, throws it up, looking for contact. No foul. No foul on the rebound either. Somehow there was no foul in all of that mess that just happened. But Northwest Florida's got the rock and an easy lay for Pierce.
Great transition bucket. And you get the easy bucket for Pierce, and boy, he is silky smooth getting to the rim.
Fagan Euros to the lane, draws the foul. 2 shots coming up for the sophomore from Atlanta.
After the basket on the other end, Johnny Pierce going to pick up his first foul, and now 7 on Northwest Florida. Bishop State in no foul trouble whatsoever. They have been whistled for only 3, as it has been. I think we can probably drop the. It's been physical because it's physical in every game. Some maybe a little more than others, but it's been that way on both ends.
Fagan, not much of a free throw shooter, just 54%. He has already gone over his season average for points tonight, so contributing. Can go even further over it with the make here.
You mentioned Shine. He's got just 1 free throw in this game for his point. And there's 2 big misses there for the Wildcats. A chance to get it back to a 2-point game. It stays at 4.
Really would like a stop here. If they can close it to a single possession with a stop and a bucket. Got to get the stop first. Nichols spinning into the paint. Oh, off the side of the window, he says, too small to Jeremiah Seb.
Went with the spin and then that arm extended out away from the body to get it away from the defender.
I hate to tell Jonas Nichols this, but Jeremiah Seb's only 1 inch shorter than him, so I don't know.
And now you need a good possession here. Here's a double team near steal.
Fagan hoists the 3, way off the heel.
Well, for Raiders, you want to slow this down.
Yeah, hold for the last shot if you can. Roman will attempt to do just that.
Coach DeMeo barely got him slowed down in time to take this final shot.
5 on its clock. Roman into the action, splits defenders, draws the foul. 2 shots with .8 remaining.
Wow. Used every last little tick, and you'll get Fagan with his first and a chance to push the lead maybe to 8. Not the end of the half that the Wildcats wanted. They had a possession to try to tie it, and since then they have not scored. Well, potentially watching the Raiders in the half. Well, it won't be a 6-0 run.
The good news for them is that Roman is not a great free throw shooter, just 52%. I had to double check that figure. A guard who shoots as well as he does, 52%. I was getting ready for this game, but he is just poor at the stripe, and he misses 2 to end the half. So that won't feel as good as it could going into the locker room for Northwest Florida. But they do extend the lead to 6 before the break. Downhill, and what a pretty finish, the last bucket of the half for Jonas Nichols. When we return, Nick, Brandon.
I'm hung over there.
You haven't been here in a little bit. It gets rocking in here when they are.
17 was their last title.
Hey, let's give the women some love. They're down in Lake Charles, Louisiana in their championship. So, could put another one up there. Who knows?
3 teams from the Jayhawk on the women's side got in.
Carter with the first touch for Bishop State. And Olajuwon, rips through the defense. He has been pretty darn good tonight.
Yeah, slice in there, kind of split 2 defenders and a near steal. Bishop State some man-to-man pressure here in the backcourt.
Well, they're back within 4. Northwest Florida did not have the offensive efficiency they wanted in the first half either. No real big standouts. Braylon Roman, 9 points, leads everybody, but they've had a few multi-time scorers. That is a very difficult shot for Nichols.
Good backside rebound there for Tasheem Gary.
Carter trying to break him down. Ooh, pocket picked. They're trying to go to Olajuwon once more. Good job denying him the basketball. Roman dumps for Pierce, who draws the foul. 2 shots.
I think they're going to get Elijah one. We'll double check on that. It will be, and it is just his first.
Nobody with more than 1 for Bishop State.
Well, they ended up having just, I think, 5 team fouls in the first half, 4 or 5. They did not have
many.
many.
Too many, it's 4. And it wasn't much more for Northwest Florida. They only have 1 with 2, De'Eric Barber.
Is there Johnny Pierce?
So the X factor, it feels like in this second half for Bishop State is the 3-point shooting. But I feel like the X factor for Northwest Florida is, can DJ Shine do anything? They have not gotten a contribution from one of their best players, and yet still lead this game by 6.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it just seems like something's off with him this evening, and there's our nights like that as a 3 misses in the corner and a transition opportunity.
Long rebound. Roman rocks the rim.
Braylon Roman right past the defenders for Bishop State.
In transition, nobody got back after the jam, but Marte couldn't finish it. It'll remain on this side for the Cats.
I think I went off of a shoulder or head of a Raider out of bounds. Correct call by the officials. And again, we saw this in the first half. Pretty early substitutions for the Raiders. They get Christian Reed into their lineup.
Carter puts it up. Down offensively. Lajuan can't finish, but he is fouled.
Well, we've both been impressed with Olajuwon on the boards, and you mentioned his footwork down in the paint is going to be a fun one to watch. He's just a freshman, averaging 11 a game for Bishop State. Gets a couple here.
Maybe a little undersized at the next level. He's not a shooter. Maybe something he can develop, but certainly you see the skills, the footwork, it's all there for him. Just not maybe the height, who knows? Well, skilled players like that are a premium at every level. And he's got another year to develop here at the JUCO side of things.
You know, maybe it's a Division II instead of a Division I, or maybe he finds one of those smaller Division Is and fits right into his system.
Roman checks it across the court, fly by Nichols, eats dessert and puts it in.
Great court awareness. Nichols, after the pump fake, was able to look down and make sure he had both feet behind the line and buries a big triple, and the lead again stretched out to 9.
Oh, nice awareness. Van Kelly just running by, says, I'll take that. Burns the no-looker to Reed, muscling his way for a bucket.
Yeah, and you need one and you'll take one. Bishop State's going to use a 30, and I think they're going to convert that into a full timeout.
And we will take it with them. 42-31 Northwest.
And they took Olajuwon out during that timeout.
Gary forces it up, comes up empty. And Kelly kicks it to Roman. Catch for Burns. Back to Demarion Van Kelly, who drives. Feeds. Underneath the rim, poked out by Fagan. And Bishop State grabs it, still down 11.
I think that might have been Marte getting a piece of that shot, and then you get a clean
open
look.
Three, needed that. That is huge from Vopsy Prophet, who has been altogether too quiet. That's his first shot, or second shot, and his first make in the game, Scott.
Yeah, he's a second leading scorer on the season at 15.7 a game, only behind Jeremiah Sim, and they need him to come alive. And you get a break there. Pass out in front of what would have been a wide open layup for Justin Burns.
Okay, so an 8-point game. Get the ball gifted back to you.
And it looks like you've got Zion Mitchell. We had a number change on him. He's wearing 22. Typically 0, we were told a jersey malfunction. That was all I was told.
He forgot his jersey back in Mobile.
It could have been.
Turn around, Fagan. Ooh, okay. I see you. Jacob Fagan well over his season average now.
Well, if this game is like anything today, outside of the first one, Bishop State's not going to go away quietly. Every time we thought a game was out of reach today, the team behind would make a run.
Under the rim, touched off by a patient Burns.
Burns uses the pump fake nicely, and again, Bishop allowing that penetration in a little too deep.
Yeah, once he got in there, it didn't matter. Pump fake, whatever he did, he was going to the stripe or making a hoop. And the Fagan gets blocked. Oh, and a foul called on Van Kelly. Wow. Have to see that one again, but.
Boy, in real time, I think he might have got him across the wrist. And I don't know if we'll have another.
For Fagan.
I'll go with my first instinct. I'll say they got a little bit of the wrist there, and now you got to convert at the line, and that'll be Jacob Fagan. So far as a team, Bishop State 6 of 11.
Fagan bricked his first two at the line, so looking for some redemption.
Neither team stellar. 5 of 9 for Northwest at the free throw line.
Shooting in general has not been stellar in this game.
Both teams have actually crept up to 40% at this point.
Well, forget what I said.
Right at 40 for Bishop and 42. I think this is up to date.
Yeah, that's right.
Score is correct.
It's from beyond the arc is a little ugly, as is the free throw line. But, yeah, you're right. From the field, just fine stat-wise. 1 of 2 for Fagan.
You typically live with plus 40
in
a game, knowing sometimes you're not going to get there.
Reed floats it in, and they're going to check on Carter, who went down during that play.
He is holding.
Checking out that ankle that he has braced up. And they'll retie his shoes, get it nice and tight around it.
I thought he was going to maybe loosen it up and then redo it. He just trying to get it a little bit more snug.
Now he'll do the whole thing. They help him to his feet.
They may go check on him on the bench.
I think a wise decision there from the training staff and head coach Trent Eager.
Got picked off on a screen, I believe, by Christian Reed, who ended up scoring that basket. It was either Reed or Roman, I believe, that set that screen. And they'll check on. He's going to keep the shoe.
One of our Legionnaires will do his best to assist. Each team gets a host Legionnaire that gets to sit the bench with them. Cool tradition here in Hutch.
I tell you, the American Legion, the volunteers over all these years have made this tournament go. You got to give a big thank you to them every year.
Absolutely. Gary high off glass. Nope. Burns will come away with it. And Kelly going right. Trying to get loose. Got about the loosest undershirt I've ever seen, by the way. As Roman goes under, can't float it in, tapped around and hauled in by Gary. Old school that way. To the rim, the foul as Marte got hit. 2 shots for him.
Great off the tap out, the look ahead to Marte. You could tell when he went up, I think initially he wanted to put it down. And then we saw the defender come and try to get the layup and ends up with a pair of free throws. Marte in the ball game has made both of his foul shots, sitting at 4 points. Struggled a bit from the floor, just 1 of 6.
Problem with the first. So it's an 8-point game once more.
Substitution, I think, coming back in. That was Hassan Dorman for the Raiders. Again, playing for the right to play Vincennes.
Quarterfinalist last year. Vincennes.
That'd be the last game of the second round if I'm calculating things correctly.
You sure are. Dorman gets pushed over, and Marte says, my bad.
Marte picks up his first. That's just the second on Bishop State. Right now 3 for the Raiders.
Screen for Nichols, pick and pop. Doesn't get the roll. Tapped out, and last touch by Gary, right back to Northwest Florida.
They're going to say off the strip there by Van Kelly that it went off of Gary's leg out of bounds. Really no protest from Desheem Gary, so he must have known it.
Yeah, he tried to help him out with the finger pointed the other way, but he was cooked.
The referees weren't taking the bait there.
And Kelly, a whole lot of dribbles. Now looking for an outlet. Nichols will pump it.
Make an extra step
no
there.
Bucket, and yeah, he traveled before he was fouled.
So still just a 7-point game. And you felt like it was teetering there for a little bit, got out around 10, and Bishop State's kind of stabled the ship here with just under 14 left. They're going to get Sim back into the lineup and getting a good rest right now. He went out, I think, right short of that under 16 timeout. Olajuwon still over on the bench.
Lob, went through the hands of Fagan. He wasn't ready for it. Now Barber to the rim. Missed it. Put back is swatted by Fagan. Now here comes Marte. He's interfered with. And Barber again down the court.
Oh, great save by Dorman along the baseline to get that possession back for the Raiders. Back and forth we went with missed opportunities for both teams.
A true possession here for Florida, or Northern Florida, and tapped the way out of the hands and push. Be a foul against Bishop State. So they'll pick up their team third.
It's first on Sim, who still chattering about that just a little bit. And Bishop State has gone man-to-man the entire way. We have seen quite a few teams switching back and forth from some type of a zone defense.
Burns takes, does not make, and over the cylinder, I think. Yep. Reed a little overambitious trying to clean that up.
And another good call there. That was still just over the rim, on the rim. We're going to get a great look at it after the great spin move. Just wouldn't finish. Yeah, still, I think, right on top of the right side of the rim. So wipe out that basket, and the Raiders will get Braylon Roman back on the floor. And that's Mitchell. For people who are watching on, who's 22. That's Zion Mitchell this evening. You're used to seeing him with a 0.
Vopsy Prophet rolled that and rolled it out of bounds. So opportunities missed here for Bishop State as they try and get closer, still down 7.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that pass didn't go right into the feet of Fagan and out of bounds. Not a crisp pass whatsoever. And just as we were talking about him, they'll bring Patrick Olajuwon back on the floor for Bishop State.
Olajuwon got that ankle all figured out, we hope. On top, Dorman, nasty pump fake. Nice move in the lane, faked out about half the Bishop State team.
Yeah, he did, and any help defense was late, and you'll turn it over. Bishop State, the other end, trying to push it, but pushed it a little too far ahead, and now possession for the Raiders to try to push that lead into double figures.
They've led by as many as 11. Can get back there here. Roman gets to the cup.
And that's been just the big difference tonight. The Raiders have just gotten in too deep too many times.
They lead points in the paint 34-16, Scott.
And Bishop State immediately, as we thought they would, try to get the ball into Olajuwon. He earns his way to the free throw line, but that is a monster advantage for the Raiders right now. Plus 18 in the paint and lead it by 11. With, again, neither team really hitting the 3 at all. Just a couple of makes for Bishop State and just 3 for Northwest Florida. And again, Northwest Florida, we talked about them. 39% three-point shooting team. They were 7th in the country coming in, but haven't been able to replicate that this evening.
Jiminson Marquez has checked in for Northwest Florida. Freshman out of Caracas, Venezuela. Averages about 12 minutes a game. Well, he's underneath the hoop now for the Raiders.
That's his first action of the ball game.
Kind of limited minutes based on his average, but here he is now. Olajuwon does not hit the second. Sort of representative of the offensive night for Bishop State. Some missed opportunities, and they're going to need to start making them. Down 11.
And that free throw percentage dropping down near 50% after the misses.
Roman rolls into the cup.
And again, another beautiful drive from up top. This spread offense for Northwest Florida, they're going to get another steal as well.
This might start snowballing a little bit. See what Roman can do. Yep, it's snowballing all right.
Yeah, timeout Bishop State.
And they love it over on the Northwest Florida bench.
To Walton College, I had a friend listening to the game on the radio, and he thought that was a player that had a huge first half, and then we informed him that, no, that is actually the team.
And he went for 40, wow.
Yeah, he had like 36 in the first half or something, and that was a funny story. I do remember that.
Well, the artist formerly known as Okaloosa Walton Junior College leads it by 15, and if you dig into the numbers, they've been kind of in control of this game, even if the scoreboard doesn't necessarily reflect it throughout the ball game. Now it does.
Yeah, 16-4 in points off turnovers. Has 9 more turnovers. Or, how about 10 more turnovers now for Bishop State? Is a miscommunication there. And then, as you already mentioned, points in the paint's gotten worse. It's now 38-16. Northwest Florida, just their dribble drive has just ate up the Wildcats.
One's just so tough when you have more turnovers.
There's an illegal screen.
Yep, no doubt about that. There's a little foot stuck out trying to get it going. But when you're losing in the turnover battle, you're losing in the paint, you've got to be hitting threes, and Bishop State just has not been able to do that tonight. Just 2 of 10 from range.
2 of 10 for them. We haven't seen a lot of made threes, as Northwest still sitting at 3 out of 12.
Figure that will likely have to change for them against Vincennes moving forward in the tournament. But tonight, it's been enough to get in the paint and win the battle there.
Well, I think they realized that early, as that's a great drive, and hitting to the free throw line going to be Jeremiah Sim. But I think that's why we have seen them attack so hard. Realize early on, hey, the rhythm not there from outside. Let's attack the rim. I think we've got the advantage there, and they certainly have.
2 shots for Sam, who's 1 of 1 at the line tonight. 72% shooter.
His 6th point of the game. Couple of Raiders re-enter. That's 4.
If you were the conciliary to Trent Eager, what would you be saying? What can you do as Bishop State to try and get back in this game? Because, frankly, there is a lot of basketball left. Making free throws would be one thing.
Free throws would be on the list, but
as far as execution hasn't been there, is there anything they can do as a coaching staff, put on a press, do anything to try and slow this down? Well, it keeps on coming. Marquez with his first bucket.
I don't know if a zone defense is in your repertoire, but maybe that could cut down, and there's a good answer.
That guy needs to take some more shots. How about that? Vopsy Prophet has been the one guy who's been able to knock him down. He just hasn't taken many shots for whatever reason.
Sometimes a zone can cut off some of that dribble drive a little bit. You might try that. I think you're going to have to take some chances in the full court with some pressure.
Dorman hangs, does not hit. Rebound to Burns. Uses his body to create space, puts it in.
That was a pretty shot. Now Northwest Florida is going to burn a 30, up 16. Well, what a pretty turnaround shot that was from Justin Burns.
Yeah, that's one to put on a highlight reel of some kind.
Here's a good look at it again.
Get off me.
We're going to rest you, get you ready for the next round, unless this thing gets a little more tight where they need to bring him back. But at this point, it does not feel like he's going to check back in anytime soon.
He's still locked in on the bench. Big participant in this defense chant that's going on right now.
Nice
Lead for Bishop State as they try and get something going on the offensive end. Bopsy Prophet to the cup. Oh, draws the foul. Nearly a nifty score, but he'll get 2 free throws out of it.
You almost got enough English on that to get it in. But he'll again head back to the free throw line for Bishop State.
Really, him and Olajuwon are the two that have been able to put it in. A little bit from Carter, but it's not enough contributions up and down the lineup to match what Northwest Florida has done, especially with the turnovers.
Good free throw there. He had missed his first 2 attempts of the game. That'll be his 7th point. Now Nichols back on the floor.
Much better that time around for Prophet.
There's your full court pressure, but then they back out of it. So Northwest Florida has done a good job against that pressure. And there's another dribble drive and another layup for the Raiders. This time it's Braylon Roman.
Yeah, they're going to see a team if they're able to advance, and Bishop State can't figure it out. Plenty of time to go, but that dribble drive may be less effective against Vincennes, who certainly has a larger back line than Bishop State at the very least, and they certainly can go into zone, I think, if I remember my Todd Franklin correctly.
Yeah, I think Vincennes does play some zone defense, if memory does serve us correctly. We do know we were impressed with the Monroe matchup zone. It's one of the better defenses we've seen here in the opening round.
We'll see them again tomorrow as Burns watches it go out of bounds off a cat.
I mentioned Bishop State. They were much like Trinidad State. Started their district play sub 500, but caught fire at the right time to earn their way here. And now you got another injury. I think Sim is down near midcourt.
He stretched out one of his legs in an awkward way, got back up, challenges the shot of Nichols at the buzzer. Off iron, controlled by the Wildcats.
I was able to be Olajuwon tipping it over to one of his teammates there, Marte, and then Olajuwon gets the repay on the other end and heads to the line.
$16-point game here in the final 8-10. Oh, there's Olajuwon at the stripe. He's got 8 tonight on 3 of 4 shooting, just half at the line.
We're going to get 3 substitutions. There actually was just 2. They had 3 over there, and I think they brought 1 back.
So Carter will sit. We haven't seen him in a little bit. Mello Carter, who is tied anyway with Olajuwon for about 2 seconds with the team lead in points, and yet he has sat a good part of this second half.
Was that Carter that left with the ankle?
Yep.
Okay, so good to see him back.
Oh.
Or wait, he is
no,
not
he
out
was
there.
the one, he was the sub that was pulled.
Okay.
Oman pressing up into Mitchell. Nichols on top. Marquez drives. Left-hand lay, no. Olajuwon wants to push it himself. Nigerian goes downhill, gets rejected. Big swat for Burns. Roman on the other end, going to the cup. Oh, the circus finish.
Wow, Braylon Roman, the little spin. I think he was anticipating.
Lob underneath for Fagan.
Well, again, Roman, I think on the other end was anticipating contact and didn't get it. That's why he kind of had that awkward landing, but still able to convert and Is there a timeout? I think a timeout was taken by Northwest Florida. All that in favor of the Raiders and the scoreboard. And I see a Raider on the deck, and we've got a foul away from the ball.
There's a push against somebody. I think it's against
Gary.
Yeah, he gets his second.
And
it is the fourth for Bishop State, so nothing overly concerning in that regard.
Northwest Florida has been whistled for 8 fouls. Did not realize their total was quite getting to that point.
Had a lot early. Cleaned it up a little bit since.
Having trouble getting it in and had to outlet it near the timeline.
And Kelly making a nice catch for Nichols, who misses the 3. Has not been a clinic from beyond the arc here in this one. Team shooting right around 27% collectively, but that'll be high percentage. Gary gets to the rack.
And Coach DeMayo won't be happy with that little scenario. I think you maybe forced up a 3 a little bit, then you allowed a fast break bucket. Still just a 12-point game.
Burns tossing it out. Van Kelly connects.
That will help turn the tide back. Van Kelly pure from the right baseline. And again, the penetration in the dish, just leaving these shooters wide open for Northwest.
Answer from Mitchell not forthcoming. And Kelly wants to push it. He kicks it out. Dorman swings it back to him. Shoveled. And a block. Fagan rejects it. Then picks it up. Need a bucket here. Big way for Bishop State. 6 minutes to play.
Oh, what a hesitation move from the top of the key. Tashim Gary finishes with the left hand and gets the lead down to 13, but can you get enough stops? That's been the big issue, especially in the second half for Bishop State.
I'll tell you what, Gary's locking down, trying to stay on Dorman. Nichols rolling in, lost his footing, got it away. Everybody converged on him, and it leaves Reed wide open.
That was a great job just to get rid of the ball as you were going down to avoid that violation. And again, good ball movement and get an easy bucket, but
Gary is starting to heat up, trying to will his team back into this game.
So you trade a 3 for a 2 there if you're the Raiders.
Well, I'm down to 5 minutes. I think they'll be okay with that as long as they can keep scoring. Nichols. Offline, Reed with the offensive board. Glass for Dorman.
Great long offensive rebound in the bounce pass underneath the Dorman for the finish.
And Gary just trying to do everything he can. Tried to take over here in the recent minutes. Will be helped to his feet, and he has 10 points on 4 of 9 shooting.
He's going to head to the line. That'll be a 1-and-1 on the 9th team foul. Or wait a minute, what are they?
They're going the other way on the tie-up.
Okay, they're going to call that a tie-up and not a foul. So it ends up going to the Raiders. So we thought Bishop State might be heading to the line, so they will not.
Oh, wait a moment for some subs. Olajuwon returns. And interesting here, they're going to have Gary sit. He's been the only one who's done anything recently for Bishop State, but he will hit the pine.
We felt like he needed a quick break here before the under 4 timeout.
Nichols turns around, knocks it in. And that's the issue, right? Got to get stops if you're Bishop State, and Northwest Florida has so easily gotten these inside looks. They're knocking down the Jays, too. Look out.
That was a great isolation for Nichols.
Prophet looked true off the hand, but just bounces out on him.
Raiders
Roman kicks it out, 3-ball, wide right.
Raiders still looking to attack even with the 16-point lead, trickling under 4 minutes. Just not in their nature yet to slow down and use shot clock.
Obviously, Prophet trying to break it down. Does so. Gets tossed to the floor in the process, no call. That'll fire up the bench just a little bit. 14-point ball game, 3:30 to go.
And they're going to send Tashim Gary back to the scorer's table.
Joined there by Tremello Carter. Oh, that's a killer. Braylon Roman says, hold on.
Well, I think Bishop was looking for an offensive foul there. They thought he got a push off with that right arm, but no whistle.
Profit answers back. But answering is not going to do the job right now for Bishop State.
Yeah, you got to quit trading baskets quickly. And that, again, has just been such a tough thing to come by. Northwest has just kind of dissected them with that dribble drive in the second half.
Barber fouled. 2 shots for the freshman.
That should take us to our final media timeout. Comes with, yeah, that was a, let me get to my paper here. That was a Howard win. They had a tight game.
Well, that whole panhandle has been
amazing.
So tightly contested, and so Northwest Florida looking to survive. And let's see, panhandle, if Northwest Florida can hang on, would be 3-0 in the tournament. We have yet to see Chipola, who we will see on Tuesday.
Making their statement as one of the best conferences in the country for men's basketball at the JUCO level. There's a couple down in Texas.
Yes, with all due respect to the Jayhawk, I think it's a battle between Florida and Texas this year. And, well, Texas can say we got the #1 seed. Florida can say we got 4 teams in the tournament. Well, we're going to find out. Still got one Jayhawk team hanging around, though. We will see them tomorrow, or
no, that will be Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Butler and
Tuesday.
Snow. You want to be here at noon for that one.
No
I'm
kidding.
telling you.
That's a way to start the day. Goodness.
We could challenge 200 points in that one. If Snow shoots the ball anywhere close to where they did today, amazing. If you missed it, if I'm remembering correctly, 18 of 27 from the three-point line. Was that the final total?
Did whatever they wanted offensively. Very impressive.
117 points.
Oh, more than that.
Was it more than that?
100 and.
I got the bracket here. Let me quickly check.
128. Did I get it right? That feels like a long time ago.
128 to 86. With Trinidad actually playing a pretty darn good game, but you talk about a buzzsaw.
Yeah, that's gonna be an awesome 9-8 matchup. Foul and a foul.
Is that gonna be over the back or on the floor? It looks like that may be on Bishop State. Yeah, they're gonna get Olajuwon for just his second.
And then the bonus, it'll be a 1-1 at the line for Jemison Marquez.
Marquez has played sparingly, did not play in the first half.
You know, he's a guy who it's not like, oh, well, he's a 5-minute game guy. Of course he didn't. No, he's 12 minutes a game. Does some work on the glass, couple points. But just playing here in half number 2. Shooting the free throws well. 14 again for Northwest Florida.
And Bishop State, they got to pick the pace up now. They've got to move quickly and hope for enough stops to have a look at this as we get deep. Did he travel? Nope, they're going to have a foul before the shot.
Gary will get 2 at the line in the double bonus. Would like to have a chance at 3, I think, but instead cut it to 12.
Yeah, they did get that on Dorman, his third. That was the 10th team foul as well, so 2 shots the remainder of the game for Bishop State. Before those free throws there, 64%.
And here in the bottom part of the bracket, it's Gulf Coast State going up against Indian Hills tomorrow in this time slot. Winner of this game, if they win the next one, would see the winner of, potentially the winner of that game. So a lot to consider here in the lower portion of the bracket, bottom right. You're looking at it. As Gary gets it, goes to the rim, scores. Okay, 11-point game. but time just running a bit thin for Bishop State.
If they do choose the foul, you'd have a couple of 1-and-1s still yet to shoot. Right now they're just matching up man. There was a little tug of the jersey there, not whistled.
Could have been. Van Kelly could have been there too, but did not finish the basket. They'll come away with it. Gary going to the rack. Boy, he has done everything he can here in this second half, but feels like just one man cannot overcome the deficit they face.
Yeah, he has tried to carry him here in the second half. They got it to a 3-possession game. There's the foul.
I don't think he wanted it to be a foul. He reached in. It's his third. And he is just exhausted over there.
Yeah, he is.
Doing what he can to keep his season going.
That's 17 for him. And free throws will be coming for Hassan Dorman. And be his first attempts at the line in this contest.
Norman, an 82% foul shooter, or rather 62, but he hopes it's closer to the former. Here at the stripe. Transfer out of Triton College.
There's Tremello Carter. We were wondering about him. He's back in. And you got the miss, but you gave up the offensive board, and now a little shot clock.
Under a minute to play.
And now you've waited too long. You don't want to foul now if you're Bishop State. And you get the
That
turnover.
was the idea. That is better. Gary going to the rack again. Boy, what an effort he's putting in here, trying to make it happen. 17 points.
I think Bishop used their final timeout there.
17 points, 4 rebounds. He's come alive here in the second half.
Well, we need not look back very far in the day, just the last game where we thought it was over with NOC, Enid, and South Plains. It was almost a similar situation to this one, and South Plains ended up forcing overtime. NOC Enid regrouped and won it in overtime, but still a little work yet to be done here for Northwest before they advance.
Well, especially with Gary, a man possessed.
Boy, and a critical part of that could be possession arrow, which does favor Bishop State, and they have one foul remaining to give
that
for a
also
1-and-1.
might be helpful. The time just running a little thin on him, 39.6.
As I recall in that NOC Enid, they had an inbound play that just was botched. They just threw it off of a player out of bounds.
Yeah, that all came in north of a minute.
Was that still outside of a minute?
Yeah, not by much, but it was. 39.6. It would take some doing, but within 3 scores.
I have seen crazier things happen in this amount of time before.
Absolutely. Have to be smart, have to play correctly if you're Northwest Florida, but they do have this one well in their grasp, just can't let it slip away.
And if they get in trouble, they do have a couple of timeouts to burn, if need be, to save a possession.
Nichols will inbound. Full court pressure, or rather just pressure on here. And they get it in.
And they had to burn one.
Yeah, well, there you go. You talked about it, Scott. There's one gone. I think better safe than sorry kind of situation there for Steve DeMeo.
You know,
he has one timeout or not, or one timeout, maybe he doesn't use it, but with 2, he says, all right.
Yeah, he had an official close by, and he wasn't risking a 5-second count. And now he'll regroup with a slightly different inbound play, but good ball pressure there by Bishop State. They're not wanting to head out of town quietly, trying to make a little noise here late. Mobile, as you mentioned, quite several hundred miles away from here for sure.
Just around 1,000. Both of these teams making it here. Quite the journey. Nichols trying to drop it in, out of bounds. It'll stay, but he'll have to try and get it in again. Profit on the defense.
Are they going to have to take a second off the shot clock? a little bit came off the game clock. It was 39.6, correct? Yeah, they'll have to take a second off the shot clock.
All right, take care of that. I think the shot clock, well, it's just another second they can't run. Baseball pass ahead, breaking away. Burns saves it in, wasting time at the very least. But it is taken over by Bishop State, 35 to go. Profit needed a quick shot. Instead, it's out of bounds.
FAR officials got a foul.
Oh, wow. Way away from there. He says, send him to the line. And so Profit will go to the stripe after the foul by Dorman, and that's his 4th. So the DC native maybe got to be a little careful now.
Now a chance to get it to a 2-possession game if you can knock in a couple. Profit 4 of 6, but now 4 of 7. And still can do it.
Yeah.
But 5 would have been better than 6.
Yeah, free throw shooting, 63%. Not terrible, but not great for Bishop State.
They're typically a pretty solid free throw shooting team at 74%.
They got the second. It's a 6-point game. Get it into Marquez, and he ties up. Oh, man. Foul called. Oh, Gary might have had a gripe with the jump ball there, but he's flagged for the infraction.
Yeah, he thought he had it clean, and well, let's take a look. Oh, I think he does have a gripe there. It looks like he almost, that could have allowed to have been play continue.
Yeah,
it
no
almost
kidding.
looked like a strip instead of a foul or even a jump ball. So now a huge 1-and-1 for Marquez.
60% shooter. Oh,
that's a
real
big
pure on that first. And a fist pump for Jonas Nichols right in front of us. And he knows what that means, putting it back to a 3-score game.
And you're out of fouls to give for 1-and-1s. That was the 9th team foul.
Marquez gets them both.
Now you wonder if Bishop State's going to have to set up a 3 here.
And it's a nail in a coffin, but at least took the hammer out. But wow. Jasheem Gary cannot stop scoring here in the second half. 19 points. The time is against them.
Yeah, because that 2-point basket, actually, I'm incorrect. It did get it down to 2 possessions again at 6 points, but you got to have 2 misses now as this is double bonus time.
Well, you got to have 2 misses, a 3-point make, and 2 misses again, all within 12.8 seconds.
Or steal.
Well, or
theoretically,
steal.
a steal in there.
Mr. Glass half full next to me. You're right. You're right. Well,
this is Roman at the line.
You can forget about all that with a couple makes, and
well,
starts off well.
1 may do it, as now 3 possessions.
Oh, he barely touched the net. Heck of clutch effort there from Braylon Roman.
And Northwest Florida going to be diligent and not leave any timeouts on the board. Use one here to talk how they want to defend this maybe potential final possession.
Can't take him with you after. Well, 8-point game, 12.8 to play. Vincennes awaits the winner. Todd Franklin and his club, the now winningest JUCO program around. Picked up that moniker this year. So
this program has the 6th most wins all time here at the tournament and their 15th tournament appearance. Getting ready to be 44-19, came in 43-19. So that says a lot about the history of the Raiders here in Hutchinson. They have become very comfortable here.
Some folks think that this is a team that might have a run in them just with how the Panhandle dealt out. They ended up getting the 11 seed, but with the talent they have and the season they put together, there are experts. I am not one of them because I am not an expert in just about anything. But experts say that, well, you know, you never know.
The analytics say they've got a chance.
And we have a buzzer for no explicable reason. Play on. Shot clock is off.
How about some more points for Gary?
Yeah, why not? Get him over the 20-point mark. 21. He's tried here in the second half. All he can do, and we'll see more free throws as Barber gets thrown down. And, well, this one's already iced, but he can crank up the freezer a little bit more.
Yeah, it's been a game effort by Bishop State. Again, they could have faded into the night when they got down, what was it, 15 or 16 points?
As much as 17.
17, and they closed this. This is as close as they've been. Actually, it got to 5, I think, and they pushed it back out.
They had a lead at one point. Not for long, but they had a lead over a really good Northwest Florida team.
So as far as a first appearance, they have acquitted themselves very nicely. They're going to come up 8 points short as that 3 comes up short. But, again, nice performance, but Northwest Florida will survive in advance.
Yeah, did it in the paint. They got it done on the dribble.